Alright, so in this video I am going to go over how I approached Lab 11, which is this gentle introduction to Flask. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is install Flask, and I'm going to go ahead and do that using pip and setting up a virtual environment. So I'll go ahead and create a directory for Lab 11 here. And then let me go in here, and so what I like to do is I always like to install a virtual environment like this, okay? So that anything that I install inside this environment doesn't mess up any of my Pythons anywhere else. And then I turn this on by doing... Now, if you don't know what I'm doing here, I've done this in other assignments, so you should watch some of my other videos to kind of understand what these Python virtual environment things are. But suffice it to say, now that I have this virtual environment, I'm going to go ahead and pip install Flask. And I think I need to do it with a capital F. Yep, so there we go. All right, and that's all installed. All right, great. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is, let's see. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create the minimal Flask application. So let's see what this is. Okay, so here's the minimal application. So all I should have to do is just copy this in here. I'll create a file called app.py. All right. And, all right, save it. Okay, and so now, verify that the application runs with Flask run and pointing your web browser to localhost 5000. All right, so let's see if that works. So I'm going to go ahead and, all right, save that. I'm going to type in Flask run. Oh, I need to activate my virtual environment again. Don't forget to do that. Okay, Flask run. All right, and it says running on localhost 5000, so I should be able to open up my web browser here and go to localhost :5000. And sure enough, you can see that it says hello world exactly the way that we thought that it would. Okay, and if I was to just change this to, you know, something else, it is a nice day today. Okay, save that. Because I didn't use the -- reload option, I have to go ahead and stop and restart the Flask server. Okay, but if I do that, then if I reload this, you see that my changes are accepted. Okay, so that's the first part, this minimal Flask application. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and modify the Flask application to check for the following path. Okay, so we're going to do a /A/B. So, all right, so I'm going to stop this from running. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to just change this app.route. So instead of just /, we're going to have this A/B, like that, right? Okay. And so now instead of returning hello world, we're going to generate this giant string. So it needs to say, so we're computing the sum, the difference, the product, which is when you multiply the two numbers together, and the quotient. Okay, so basically all I have to do is I can say, I'll go ahead and use an F string here. The sum of, I'm going to do A and B is A plus B, like that. And then I'll put in a BR. So I'm putting in this BR because you see here in my hints, you can use BR for a line break. So because this is going to be run in the web browser, it's going to be returning HTML, so I can use these HTML tags. And so BR just does a carriage return to put the text on the next line. Okay, and so now I can do plus equals, and you know what? I guess I'll just copy this. All right, so do the string plus the difference and we're going to do A minus B. Okay. And then we're going to do the product. And then this is going to be A times B. And then we'll have the quotient. A divided by B. Okay. And then all we have to do is just return this. Return, oops, I need to spell return correctly. Return ST. All right, so let's go ahead and see if that works. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run this again. Okay, now this time in our browser, if we just go here, we're going to get an error, right? Because it's expecting that we put in the two numbers, right? So if I did like 10 and 8, okay. Oh, we're getting some kind of internal server error. So when you get this internal server error, what you can do is you can go back to the console right here, and it'll tell you what the problem was, okay? And it says, hello world got an unexpected keyword argument A, okay? So the problem is that when we set up our app route with these A and B variables, we need to accept the variables here inside our function header, right? So I need to go ahead and I need to put in an A here and a B here, like that, okay? And these variable names need to match whatever's in here. If I had made this foo, then foo would need to be here. If I had made it blah, then it would need to be blah, okay? So that's all that is. All right, so we'll save that. Okay, restart the Flask server. All right, and let's try this again. Okay, oh, I'm still getting an error. Okay, and now it's saying it's an unsupported operand type for minus straw and straw, okay? So that's another important point right here, is that all of these variables here are going to be interpreted as strings, okay? So I need to actually convert them to numbers. So I need to actually go in here and I need to put in an int. Well, you know what I can actually do? Rather than having to do it everywhere here, I think what I'll do is I'll just do this. A equals int A, B equals int B, like that. Okay, so now I've converted them into integers. All right. And okay, now this time instead of just doing Flask run, I'm going to do Flask run minus reload, because then I don't have to stop and start this every time. Okay. All right, so there we go. And now let me go ahead and refresh this. Okay, and now it looks like it's working. Okay, so you see the sum of 10 and 8 is 18. The difference of 10, so 10 minus 8 is 2. 10 times 8 is 80, and 10 divided by 8 is 1.25. And I should be able to plug in any other numbers I want. Like if I change this to 100 and this to like 37, okay? The sum of 137 is 137. The difference is 63. The multiplication and the quotient. And, you know, you can probably use pretty big numbers here. Let's put in just like some crazy stuff. Oops, I don't want to put it. If I put in letters, I know I'm going to get a problem. Okay, so there's two really large numbers, and you can add them and subtract them and multiply them and divide them. Okay, so there you go. So that's basically Lab 1. And if I can figure out how to stop this video, then I will.